and gentlemen, and welcome once again to another episode of the CD Racoola Show. Today we'll be looking directly at the 2018 film Bird Box. Before we do, if you could please go ahead and take your blindfolds off and subscribe to the CD Racoola Show, I would be most appreciative. This film was very unique and scary because the thought of stealing away one or more of someone's senses is a difficult thing for most of us to comprehend. I think sight may be the most difficult thing for people to lose and can send you into total darkness. And that is exactly what happens here in Bird Box. This film reminded me of the film The Happening, if you saw that. It starred Mark Wahlberg, where people are randomly and oftentimes extremely violently committing suicide. In The Happening, it was the plants basically fighting back against the human invasion by releasing toxins into the air. But in Bird Box, it's either some sort of demon, as was alluded earlier in the film, or some kind of alien species, perhaps? We don't really know in Bird Box, and that's how it's supposed to be, I think. We see some drawings of the creature by one of the crazy folk who have actually seen the monster and are bent on making everyone else see the creature. The drawings look quite terrifying, if I'm being honest, and for me personally, I would have loved to see the beast, but all we got was gusts of wind, a few shadows, and some guttural noises. It did appear that the creatures, or whatever they were, did have the ability to mimic human voices, and seemed to have access to the inner workings of that person's brain, to recall their loved ones' voices, urging them, of course, to take off their blindfold and open their eyes. It was quite the concept. And speaking of films that reminded me of this one, A Quiet Place, a film where you take away the ability to speak or make any noise at all, really. Just a similar feel, you know, trying to keep children alive while walking on eggshells around these beasts or aliens or demons, whatever they were in this film. So, thinking on A Quiet Place here, which one... I did a review of both, by the way, 1 and 2, if you like both of those. But comment down below on what situation you would prefer to be in. I personally would prefer to live in the Quiet Place universe as opposed to Bird Box here. Because I still want to have my sight, because as a vampire, I have learned to be oh so stealthy while stalking my prey. I think losing my sight would be quite difficult, even for me, as a blood-sucking, immortal scourge upon this earth. So I don't know, comment your thoughts below, you know, either Bird Box here or The Quiet Place. You humans are noisy creatures, so maybe you would prefer to live in the Bird Box universe, I don't know. This film was directed by Suzanne Bier and was based on the novel written by Josh Malerman. They pulled a big-time cast into this film, with the starring role belonging to Sandra Bullock, who played Mallory Hayes. Sandra Bullock has been in tons and tons and tons of films and has won more than her fair share of accolades. But for me, I really liked her work in the film A Time to Kill. That film also had quite the cast, by the way, if you've seen it. Bird Box also featured one of my personal favorite actors of all time, John Malkovich. John is another actor that has been in just tons of film, but I of course loved him in the 2000 film, Shadow of the Vampire. In that film, Willem Dafoe played the vampire. Imagine that, Dafoe and Malkovich on the same set. What a dream pairing those two are for horror aficionados. Great cast and great directing for this film. And as I stated earlier, I think losing your sight and being forced to stumble around without vision is just plain old scary, and certainly is deserving of high marks on old CD's scarometer. On one hand, I would have loved to see the creatures, I really would have. But, on the other, I get how not seeing them and letting your imagination run wild is also intriguing, and trust me, I know you horror fans have some seriously freaky-deaky imaginations. All that being said, I would love to see a Bird Box 2, and it appears that Sandra Bullock is willing to put on the blindfold and go at it again for part 2. Word round the street is that they're going to do a spin-off series as well, set in the same Bird Box universe. Oh, goody, goody gumdrops, I'm as giddy as a school Vampy for more Bird Box. I would like to take this time to thank you peasants out there in YouTube land for joining me here on this episode of the CD Racoola Show. Please join me next episode on the show when I review the film Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Oh, you know that episode is going to be fun. You just know it. Till next time, my little human blood smoothies. Don't open your eyes. Ta-ta.